Alright guys, welcome back to Beautiful Mind today. I'm Roland Attenborough. I'm the leading Gann scientific and analytical researcher. Thank you for having me as a guest today. We're talking about Bitcoin and the resumption of the bull market, or the retest of our all-time high and a possible rejection down to the end or the third week of June. Excuse me. In looking at what we are seeing, let's go first take a look at our indicators. We've been discussing that the RSI here, to show us that this trend has resumed a top or a topping pattern, we need to be breaking above and retesting this area. And it looks like the RSI has been searching out a bottom and a re-challenge of this area. Getting above this area would indicate that we would be going up to the 77 area on our square of 9, which is next from 73. Getting above that, we would possibly see a level into the 80s, and squaring out this position somewhere up to, but not getting much above 90,000 is in the cards. Looking at the MACD, we've had a golden cross here, which is very exciting for us to see. However, as the buyers have stepped back in, it looks like the energy has subsided a bit, and the buyers have run out of steam a bit while we retest this topping area. A failure to break above this area would mean a resumption of a correction and the distribution and accumulation, and this can and may run for the next, that's right, 60 and 90 days. The stochastics, the leading and lagging indicator. It looks as though we've made a higher bottom, which is a sign of strength. We've crossed over. However, we are starting to show a little bit of weakness inside this area, and this area is very ripe for making tops and a change in trend. So we may see a retest of this top and a rollover until we can gain more strength again in the third week of June and have a tumultuous move back up and burst through our top. Otherwise, a rejection will take place and we would further move back down and retest this area and possibly sit on and retest this area. Let's go take a look at the chart now and see what we can see. We've been postulating that a top or a swing top was going to appear around this very early part of June, and that was the moon or the luminary body coming back around and vibrating and contacting this area, and this area vibrates with tops, lower tops, so we're watching them. What can we see now? Well, we've been discussing that this 45-degree angle is right now vibrating and holding the asset. Our next move up, as we've been discussing, is 77. We've put a low and shallow 1 times 2 angle, and it intersects our 45-degree angle, which is a 1 times 1 angle. And this is called the death angle, as Mr. Gann would refer to it. And typically, it starts around the 42nd day and runs to approximately the 49th and 52nd and 53rd day. We've talked about this. We've also been discussing, should this show strength and get above, we have some Fibonacci areas. We've taken a Fibonacci and we've ran out the sine wave from 38 and we ran it out to our all-time high. However, the squaring out of this position is at 67,000. So staying above this angle here is very significant and is a wide swing between our Fibonacci sequences. And looking at this, you can see that we started at 0. Well, we made a bottom here. And this is our first 0.23. We, however, elevated up to the 0.38. So doubling 0.38 would bring us to 76. We didn't quite reach 76 in price. However, we did reach 76 in the Fibonacci sequence. And this did indicate that we are, in fact, back into a bull market. Not breaking below the 50% level, or the gravity center. We've talked about this with 45-degree angles. We see the asset came back and vibrated on this Fibonacci sequence. Further staying above that and returning to the 618 angle is another show of strength. Again, returning back to the 7-8 and sitting on this is showing great strength. Now for the last section of our sine wave in our sequence here, we have regained this channel angle and are now sitting on it. Let's go take a look at what we could see moving up again in our next pattern. It appears that the 1.618 crosses an area of our chart that starts with 90 and crosses the lower part of 90. And here we cross 87. So it is showing us that it is likely to see some overhead resistance somewhere around here. Getting above this angle would bring us to the 100,000 and 120,000 level. And we've been discussing that it is likely that we could see 100,000 Bitcoin. However, first we need to see a breakout and a move up to 77,000 and a sit down on this level or staying above this level would indicate a move up to here, as well as a move up to somewhere in this period here. That's right. We could possibly touch upon these areas. So looking at these tools, we are seeing the evidence that this area here, once we overcome it, will be an area which will be a stepping stone and a building block. And after August, it will be very evident that we will be moving up rapidly in the following year of 2025. This year is going to be very tumultuous. We have an election this year, which is probably one of the most controversial as well as important. And typically we have big bull markets and big runs when we have strong leaders that are about to take control of the country. So look for stocks and Bitcoin and assets to have large and wild swings. It's just in the cards. So looking at our chart now, we can see that a rejection from this area is going to bring us back to this 1 times 2 angle. But that will not mean that we're in a weak position. Until we break these lows, we are in a strong position. And when time runs out, which will be this June, our July, and our August period, we are going to see some very big moves, one way or the other. I hope you enjoyed that tutorial, and peace and love to all of you. Hit me up if you have any questions. I'm working on some things. I'm going to do something on ETH and whatnot because I get a lot of people talking about it. However, Ethereum is a SWIFT and is not a proof of work. So just wanted to point that out. That's why I focus on Bitcoin. It's worth 70,000. It's the most successful thing. However, I will look at some other assets. I get a lot of feedback about this, so we'll take a look at that. Peace and love, guys.